Hi guys, welcome to the vlog. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. So it's been about a month since I have touched that harness, and that is a completely separate harness from the dash harness, the interior stuff that I've been doing on the Supra. But I'm so glad that within that month span, I was able to get in all my content and do some other Supra work. So I was pretty proactive with the time. But now it is time that I finish this. I got everything else that I needed from ProWire, and I ordered just some couple last minute things that I think I'm gonna need just to get this done all in this vlog. Now it is probably gonna take like a 2 to 3 day process, and it's gonna be finished like inside the Supra, which is pretty interesting. And I still gotta go over everything, double check everything, and I'll try to make it as detailed as possible for you guys. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, first thing is first, I do have to start with extending the wires on that fuse box harness, which is where I left off at. So in the package of ProWire, I have at least about like 120 feet of wire that I was missing. I so miscalculated that, but I got everything in, and this is what I'm gonna start with, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I got all my stuff from ProWire right here, and I also did order some more solid crimps because I was running very low. And then I also got this new crimper from Hystronic, which is an Amazon brand. I mean, yeah, it was probably made in China, you know, but it had pretty good reviews, and some people used it for automotive work, so I'm gonna give it a try. The only reason why I really got this is because it has 8 and 6 gauge crimp size, so I'm gonna need that. You know, I think this is like essential. Now, I know that probably in the future I will have to upgrade, but for now, this is gonna work. Pretty much done with this step. Now, I was doing a hard pull test to some of the earlier work that I had done, and a couple of them pulled out. So I was looking back through my notes, and I was, you know, looking a little bit more information on the crimper that I was using. I will have to say that a lot of it does have to do with the crimper. Not only that, but the size of the actual crimp. So I didn't even know this, and I didn't know that this was something that I was going to have to factor in. But let me show you these two products right here. So this is the first company that I went for with the solid crimps, which is a company called Wirefy, and then we have Zvar. 18 to 22 gauge wire on this one serves at about 19 amps versus this one that serves at about 12 amps. So the thing that was interesting was the sizing. So we have BN 0.75, 18 to 22 gauge, and this one doesn't have a 0.75. Now, these are pretty standard numerical values that they give for these crimps, and it pretty much is the same for like all the rest of the companies. The only difference is the sizing between them, and then the amperage, of course. But if we look over here to this 1.25, it's the same 1.25 on this side, 18 to 22 gauge, which is what I was using for my 20 gauge wires. Now we have those numerical values that are the same. But if we come over here, I was looking at why is one thinner than the other. So we have that 0.75 that's from Zvar, the company that I'm going with, and I had to recrimp most of my 20 gauge wires. And this one is in fact a lot thinner on the diameter on the inside and also the thickness. So we have a 0.5 thickness versus this one, the 16 to 22 would be the same as the 18 to 22 because of the 1.25 right here from the other company. So we have one that's 0.5 and then we have one that's 0.8. The inner diameter of the one that I had to recrimp for most of my 20 gauge wires is 1.85 versus 1.7. The last one, the biggest wire of all, this huge 8 gauge wire. Oh, this is gonna be a little tough to crimp. That's absolutely insane. Where's Orlando? Shit, bro. Oh, it's almost there. I mean, it's crimped. You know, this side came a little bit, you know, too forward, I think. This one was actually really good. It was like right in the middle. This one just, it's a little too forward, but I mean, it's durable, so that's what really matters. Actually, let's do a little test. Hold on, guys. You just watched me struggle. Hold on. Let's see if it was not in vain. Oh, it's good. No, yeah, that was like, whew. Whew. Well, we are done with the first part, and I was almost defeated by that crimp, that 8 gauge crimp. Did I already know it was gonna be that difficult? Yes, because the first time I ever crimped anything was at Kaizen Motorsports, and I was all over the place. I was battling, and it wasn't even that size, you know? It was literally like a 14 gauge crimp, which, you know, I'm still shocked. But we got it through, guys. Thank you for watching that. Thank you for being a part of it. Now I'm excited because tomorrow morning I will be back and I will continue this vlog, and I'm going to bring out the rest of the harness and then do the last couple add-ins. And I think there's ground that I have to redo on the passenger side, and then I do have to also extend a wire from that brake master reservoir switch that's on the driver's side. And yeah, so tomorrow we're going to do like the last couple checks before I label everything. And at some point, I think I am going to have to just mock this on the Supra just to make sure that it's all going to look coordinated before I even get to like finalizing anything. So I'm super excited. I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Hi guys, welcome back. Much work is completed, but I am still not done for today. I'm so glad I left notes though, because I am tracing down all the wires from that heater relay, and that's where I got stuck at right now. So the heater relay, I have this blue and white striped wire, which I already extended it. Now the thing is that I left a note in my notebook that says there is no trace wire to be found, and I'm gonna have to wire directly from the fuse box into that IB2 right there. So I was like, okay, there should be a trace wire, you know, and I left that note for my future self, which is the self of today, trying to figure it out. Now I'm going back through the rest of the notes, and yes, in fact, that was actually supposed to be a merged wire into another blue and white striped wire that goes into the front wiper blade motor and also the washer tank. So I'm glad I left these little notes. There was also something else that I caught that I extended, and it was not supposed to be extended. It was actually supposed to be a wire that is blocked off. Let me show you. So this wire right here, this is the one that I extended accidentally, and it's actually supposed to be blocked off. So this one is the main wire that I need to extend, and it goes into the IB4, which I do have it listed. I'm gonna show you the positioning on the relay, but I do have it listed right over here. So I have two blue and red striped wires. One is a 10 gauge, and then the other one is, I believe, a 16 gauge. One goes to the IB4, and the one that I'm blocking off merges into this one that goes into the IB4. But the only reason why it merged together is because that wire actually belongs to the front wiper motor. And let's see, where is it at? Right there. And that one would run separately into the IB2. So they merge together at some point. Now it is something that I'm not going to need for this. It's not going to be necessary. The main wire, which is the wire that's going to go into the IB4, it's going to be independent on its own. And of course, that's what's going to control the entire heater core unit. This is actually okay to be blocked off. It's not going to be necessary. There's a blue and white wire for the AC. I also blocked off the one that's not necessary with it, like this one right here. I already started pre-labeling everything, and then we're going to get to pre-labeling this. Now I am going to go get some coffee. It is so hot today. So hot in Southern California, but I'm going to go get some coffee. And yeah, definitely going to pull probably a really late night trying to get this done. But I'm so excited. This is a lot of wiring that I have accomplished in like a very short amount of time, but I am so proud that I have not given up, and I'm not gonna give up. So that's the cool thing. Even though, yes, I caught a couple mistakes, but that is just part of the process, guys. There's probably a couple more mistakes that I'm gonna catch, but that's the best thing. It's like catch it and then analyze it, fix it, and then just make sure that I have everything written down. That way, if I have to go back into like my files, or if I have to like tamper with this harness sometime in the future, I have everything else written out, which is like pretty good. So yeah, let's get some coffee. MJ, guess who gets Pop Cup? Porque si no te agarro uno, uy, no me lo perdonas. Yo ya te conozco, mi amor. Te conozco porque soy tu madre. Si no te agarro un Pop Cup, no me lo perdonas. Mi amor. Alright, let's get back to work. Tómatelo. I'm telling her to drink it like if it's like a little mini coffee. You know what's funny is that there was a part of something that I didn't leave notes for, and I told myself, okay, when I get to this point, I'm gonna figure it out at this point. So I was curious because I was like, okay, why on the AC magnetic clutch relay are there two red with blue striped wires, right? And I had deleted the radiator fan relay wires, which one of them was a red with blue stripe that wired into this at some point. since I stripped that, there's also another red and blue wire that is part of the heater relay. So somewhere over here, I think this one right here. So the thing is that I knew that at some point either I had to remove one of these or these merged, but I just didn't even remember. So luckily, of course, in the wiring diagram, it definitely shows you the layout. So we have AC magnetic clutch relay. We have these two blue with red, or red with blue striped wires, and then they also merge with the wire that runs from the heater relay, and they all run to the same 1A connector. So the 5th pin on that 1A connector. So I had the notes written down, but I wasn't sure if I had to, you know, remove one of these, which that's why I had to like double check, because I was like, okay, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know, like, I mean, if I like, my logic right now, since I'm like kind of cramming a lot of what I'm like learning, just like in the moment, I was like, okay, wait, how does the circuit work again, right? Like, how does the relay work again? But, you know, I had to go back to previous notes. But yeah, I had to like catch that. Now, I'm hungry. I'm hungry, guys. Can you guess what I'm gonna make? Let me show you a little sneak peek. Because it is that time. I can't decide on what kind. It's either shells or linguine, but I'll do shells tonight. I literally just got a couple more wires to go, and it is all handled for tonight, guys. I'm so excited. And my dinner is finished. You guys want to see what it is? You guys want to see? So it's not your traditional pasta. It is a creamy pasta, but I was feeling kind of spicy, so I actually went with a creamy chipotle pasta. It already has some fresh Parmesan topped on there, and then some garlic, lemon butter, shrimp with asparagus. That's the perfect protein, I think, for this kind of pasta. And then I'm gonna top it off with some parsley. And I know that I'm like so hungry, but I'm not gonna eat too much because I still gotta make sure that everything else is done for tonight. And then I'll see if I can include that before I go to bed, because tomorrow I'm paving the way so I can get this handled. And I'm so excited. I mean, we're almost there. Really, it's just that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I know it looks about the same from the last clip, but it is fully done, and I identified the last couple wires, which were for the horn relay. Now, you know what's interesting is that I didn't even write anything in my notebook down for that. And I think maybe I was probably rushing, you know, trying to like figure everything out. It was just too much to even digest all in one sitting of like learning how to even check the relays, take everything apart, because that's when I even started writing stuff down. But now I got that covered. I even printed out like a little layout, so I know a little bit more, which is great. And guys, it is no joke having to tag team both this harness and this one right behind me, and just making sure that everything is aligning properly. Now, there is still so much more to go over, and I just cannot cover it all in this video. I will leave all of the nice in-depth detail for the next vlog, and it's going to be a continuation of this work. It's not going to be too complex, but you know, I like to show you guys like the whole process, and I think like that's so pretty cool, you know. This is the first time I'm ever restoring a harness, and I've gotten this far, and in my mind it's a super professional, high grade, fully operable body harness for my MK4 Super build. So yeah. All right guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Stay blessed, and don't forget to leave comments down below. Bye.